That is the sound of a distracted, divided, and dead American until they hear Battle for Freedom, triggering change, one heartbeat at a time. Hello everyone, I'm your host Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio, and I appreciate every last one of you listening and following as we get to another broadcast of Battle for Freedom on Mojo 50 Radio, one of the best and most amazing networks you'll ever find when you're coming to Facebook.com, Twitter, all the socials that you can imagine, just great content that you'll appreciate. Mojo 50, go to mojo50.com and check out all the different hosts that are there. Click the donate button while you're there. Actually, if you're listening live via iHeartRadio, Spreaker, or whatever, you'd find out that just before this program, you would have been listening to the HoloNet with Matthew Holloway and the HoloNet, all available to you if you go to Facebook. Go to mojo50.com and basically click the schedule button and you can figure out exactly who's there. Now, for me, my website is battle4freedom.com. Again, battle4freedom.com. You share this out with as many people as you can, starting this day off the right way. And if you want to interact, you can go to facebook.com/Mojo50 Radio. I see Carolyn, Renee, Heidi, Lep, and Kathy. Appreciate every last one of you being there, being here, and being part of the program. Another person I appreciate being part of the program. Well, it's not much of a person, but you probably could, depending on your affinity for it, you probably could consider this more of a person if you have an extreme love for American Pride Roasters coffee.
That's it. I've hit the snooze button a dozen times, and now I have to finally get going. But I'm not going to do this day right if I don't start it off with a cup of American Pride Roasters coffee, the official coffee of Mojo 50 Radio. But I'm not going to lie to you. They have a wide variety of blends, but I'm leaning towards the one that's named after me, Watson's White Chocolate Caramel. You know what? It sounds as good as those words that just rolled off of my mouth. Listen, get it today. AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you, and you want Watson's White Chocolate Caramel blend to start your day off. Join American Pride Roasters Coffee and Mojo 50 Radio, and most important, Battle for Freedom, as we celebrate the best coffee in the nation. American Pride Roasters.
AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Go there, share it out to as many people as you can. Another one I want you to look into, because of the fact that a lot of you are probably going to be very triggered by this broadcast, as I am going to cover a couple of things that I find very interesting. I've seen that Linda, Lisa, Belinda have joined. Thank you very much for being part of the program. Let's get the solution for being triggered.
Does your mind seem like it often shuts down before it even starts? Sounds like you need to detox to improve your health in body, mind, and spirit. I'd like to tell you about New Life Holistic. It is an amazing therapy process that uses neurofeedback and biofeedback for many issues that ails everyone. New Life's method and approach to health, balance, energy, and vitality is what sets it apart from anything you have experienced ever before. Call 1-833-4-BIO-LIFE and tell them Watson from Battle for Freedom has sent you. One more thing. Give them the code Mojo50 and save $50 off of your first session. The consult is free. New Life Holistic.
New Life Holistic. Share it out to as many people as you possibly can. Honestly, I'm going to tell you. Now, something I've made a mistake on calling Anthony Malchiotti a doctor. He is a specialist in his field of what he understands and what he learns. I just picked up the lingo of hearing him called Dr. Anthony, but he is a specialist. He is trained. He is certified in many of the different things that biofeedback, therapy. But there's so much more that he is even trained on. So for now, almost 2 weeks, I've been working on better eating, better living, walking more on a daily basis. And honestly, that sinking feeling that's been happening in my life is the weight that's been sinking, and actually the bad unhealthy living that has been really just riddling me, and I'm better understanding the things that gets me when it comes to my health. And so I really appreciate Anthony Malchiotti, and he is the inventor and owner and business leader for New Life Holistics. So it's not just the biofeedback therapy that you'll get that will help you. I believe there's so much more that he will encourage you in as we try to live better and allow our bodies to be the proper vessels that God has created them to be. Good morning, Renee. Thank you for being part of the program as well. See, as we sit here and we look at this thing that's very interesting in terms of talking about sinking suspicions of more disaster. And just the idea for me is that foundations and narratives are crumbling. We're going to talk briefly about the tragedy that took place yesterday. A tragedy so bad that the vice president has to remind the president to talk about it. As we sit here and we start watching, it's clear, folks. It's clear. There's no logical way apart from theft that 81 million people allegedly brought about the show, the crumbling show happening in front of us, or Crumbling Joe happening in front of us. I don't say this to be malicious against our president. I am saddened for our president. I am saddened that he has been that the elder abuse that's taking place right now, that his wife is allowing the elder abuse to take place, that the Democrats are allowing the elder abuse to take place. It's so sad that all the wickedness that was pushed on Donald Trump, all the blame, all the things that was talking about him being a tyrant and malevolent and so much more. Donald Trump never made threats to American citizens of saying, well, we've got nuclear weapons and we've got fighter jets if we really had to go toe to toe in a situation here. And we are watching this thing continue to take place. His mental degradation is taking place, and he has to now be reminded of a tragedy that took place just 14 hours south of his position, if that's how long it takes. Yeah, it should be about 15 hours south of DC's position. But let's get into the issue about the story of the sand, or the sinking sand. There's a scripture passage I'm going to talk about this. I believe it might be Matthew chapter 7, verses 24 and 25, that talks about the whole idea of the sinking sand, those building their lives on a sinking sand, or their foundations of their hope on sinking sand. I'm going to try to be calm today because it's better when I'm not screaming. Scientists discovered over a year ago that the 12th floor Miami condo was sinking and needed extensive repairs for rusted steel and damaged concrete. It is revealed work on roof may have triggered deadly collapse, leaving 99 missing. The Champlain Towers CV condo development was built in 1981 by the late developer Nathan Reiber's company, Natel Construction. Building sites at 8777 Collins Avenue in southeastern Colorado hadn't been updated significantly since then. Florida International University professor Sheldon Wadowinski said that he knew instantly which building had collapsed when he heard the news reports, because he had studied the building for a report published last year. Do you realize that the last time that this building was certified, or I think it was in the 1980s or the 1990s, was the last time there was a report on this building? There are things that we have set up our foundations on. Certain things don't sink. God does not sink. His word does not sink. But all the structures, see, this is a disaster that took place, and I'm so sorry for the lives that are being lost and the lives being damaged because of this. But this This tragedy that took place is only a small picture of the tragedy taking place in our country over the last several decades. Over the last several decades, this is only a small picture of what's taking place here. Good morning, Carolyn. Thank you for being part of the program. That things are starting to collapse here as we watch this. And this is basically because it's not just this issue of this tragedy taking place. Let's pray. Let us pray for the lives. Thank you for the first responders being there to quickly just jump into action like you always do, despite the fact that our country right now is built on a language of calling you racists, violent, and not caring for certain segments of people, even though you don't stop to get in there and help and save lives. Whether you're first responders as firefighters, police officers, EMT, you name it. Thank you so much for being there despite the rejection we constantly give you. Remember, as foundations of society, as police officers are retiring or walking away from positions because they're tired of being attacked, they're tired of being broken down because of the fact of the actions of a few. For the actions of a few, they're really tired of being accused. They're breaking down the foundations of a stable society. And it's happening in so many different ways. The fact that we had the election fiasco that we had last year is not just because of what's taken place last year, but what has been taking place for the last several decades. And there's more disaster yet to come. There's more disaster yet to come. Speaking of this is actually one that I'm actually glad on this one here. A lot of people, you're going to sit here and you're going to think, oh, this turncoat. What was it? That you had people attacking him. You had people booing him when he went to go speak at a convention or a GOP convention last month. But you had, it might have been earlier this month. Pence unloads on Trump. Former VP says nothing more un-American than the idea that one person could choose the president. And he'll always be proud of certifying results after Trump rebuked him. It was, and basically Pence was speaking in a crowd in Ronald Reagan Presidential Library on Thursday. He still touted his and Trump's record during their 4 years in office, comparing them to Trump and Reagan, comparing Trump to Reagan. Pence rarely speaks out about events of January 6th when the mob supported, stormed the Capitol. But you know what? He decides that he says he's proud that he certified the election results. And I'm glad he did. And every last one of you should be the same thing as well, too. See, because if Trump's presidency hinged upon what Mike Pence would do on January 6th, our system is crumbling. If Trump's presidency hinged upon, Supreme Court justice decisions, our system is crumbling. It's a disaster. We have a bigger problem because think about this. Let's say Pence decided not to certify the results. Let's say Pence brought us down this line of constant things in and out and everything like that. What do we still have? Even if you turn around, regardless of civil wars taking place, you still have a large number of American citizens that decided that they were going to cheat on election day. We haven't removed the people who are willing to break the law. See, everybody is so fixated and trying to fix all these different things. We've done nothing to fix the problem at the bad roots, not grassroots. The bad roots hurting, killing society. So to put this all on the shoulders of one man and blame one man and boo one man, when we have had bigger, deeper rooted issues of sinking sand situations. Hello. Don't boo Mike Pence. Boo Republicans, boo Democrats, boo Americans, because of the fact that the idea of us being a nation blessed by God, that narrative went out the door more than 2-3 decades ago. We stopped respecting God. We stopped revering God. We stopped worshiping and loving God, but we expect him to keep blessing us. We keep pooping in his face and expecting him to just wipe it off and continue throwing and showering the blessings on us. Good morning, Carrie. Thank you for being part of the program. And hi, Curtis. Thanks for joining as well. It's just really sad. Pence, he unloads. He's like, listen, no, I did what was right, and I'm not going to be the person who's going to decide this election. I mean, it's even sad that we get to the point where we're so dependent on making certain that the Supreme Court is stacked left or right in order to get our will, rather than the American people actually having the integrity and moving beyond apathy and indifference to want to be engaged in what's taking place in society. We have sinking sand solutions going on right now. This is disastrous. That we're uncovering things that are taking place in our country right now that makes us realize we're not as good as we thought we are. That image of us being so great, that image of us being so loving, that image of us being so perfect and great and everything like that, we're in a lot of trouble. And yes, Kathy, the Supreme Court shouldn't have the power that it has. See, new stories, new information that's going to continue coming out and busting out how really depraved we really are going to continue to show. See, here's the thing about it. We're going to have more tragedy on the way because of the fact that as more stuff is unveiled, as more stuff is just proven. Because even I'm telling you, folks, no matter how much information we can provide on the election fraud, there is the other aspect of election fraud that you have to consider. And that is that Donald Trump did not run a better campaign. It doesn't matter if he could fill the stadiums. All he did was attack people when he was sitting there speaking. He didn't give a plan of everything was about, you just reelect me and I'll make certain that everything is going well. You remember me who said that I was going to show you who killed Kennedy. I was going to show you all the secrets of what's taking place in this situation and this situation, but I don't unveil and I don't unseal records until I'm walking out the door. Stuff that I waited 4 years to show you. Yeah, here you go. Here you go. I'll give it to you now. What? Just rely on me. I'll be your savior. I'll be the one who's going to make America great again. All you have to do is just reelect me. And I'll keep America booming into prosperity. We're going to find out a whole lot more. Here was an interesting story, because it's amazing what things will do just to be accepted and for worship. I just wanted someone to love me in my old age. Pentagon linguist 62 is jailed for 23 years for giving her Hezbollah-linked Lebanese man a list of U.S. spies named that she kept under her mattress after he promised to marry her when she retired. Miriam Taha Thompson was was a translator for the U.S. military in Iraq when she was arrested in February 2020. She had been giving classified information to a Lebanese man her relatives in Lebanon had introduced her to over social media. The man promised to marry her and bring her to Lebanon when she retired in December 2019. The U.S. killed Iranian General Qasem Soleimani in an airstrike that also took out a Hezbollah leader. Thompson's love interest said he was very upset about it and asked her for the names of the U.S. spies behind it. He also asked her for a list of U.S. targets the U.S. were going to pursue next. And she agreed. Accessing the information at work, then either memorizing or writing it on Post-it notes and reciting it to the man over video chatter later. And on Wednesday, she begged the judge for mercy as she was just desperate for love in her old age. See, foundations are crumbling. Our agencies that spend a lot of time spying. I understand that our military has to have advantages to basically win, and they should win in battles that they're supposed to be in battles that they should be engaged in. But there's a lot of stuff that we have been participating in that even those foundations are starting to crumble. That we should not be participating in this. Wars that we should not be in. Countries we should not be in. Spying that we should not be doing. See, this is the reason why there will never be an audit of the Fed. This is the reason why there will never be a balanced budget. This is the reason why we will never have a government stop spending monies it shouldn't, because we have agencies like this that are starting to crumble and be exposed because all you have to do is work on the desperations of lonely people or unhappy people, and you can get whatever information you can get out, compromising the safety and integrity of so many more. Because remember, if she gives names to the individuals who are exposing this information, also their families are now exposed, and their families could be used as weight to get what they want. It's very interesting. Foundations are crumbling. And I have a sinking suspicion that there's going to be a whole lot more disaster on the way. And it's very sad because of the fact that there's some things that you just sit there and you say, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Here was another one that again, this is just with our president. I don't want to spend the whole time bashing him in one segment. I'm going to bring it up. Biden tells small businesses to increase wage bill. Biden tells struggling firms to pay staff who've received stimulus cash even more money to attract them back to work in a creepy whisper. Now think about this. Instead of me stop paying them to stay home, you pay them more money. Inflation's already up. I'm about to tax you more money, but you still need to give them more money. So then where does the business have a profit margin to actually have more research, build more facilities, hire more people? See, this idea of socialism and more government and higher wages, it's a crumbling foundation. It doesn't make sense if you basically say, well, listen, we're going to charge you more taxes to get more money out of you so that we can pay these people so they can stay home and actually have an affordable wage. But what we're going to do is we tax you more money. You need to pay people more money so that we don't have to pay them any more money, even though we're trying to get more money out of you to give them more money. In this circular system that keeps going around and around and around and around. It never was the government's position to continue to pay people to stay home. But now the government, our tyrannical president is now saying, pay them more money. More verbal threats. Pay them more money. I don't care what your business is doing. I don't care if your business is struggling. Give them more money. Instead of, I'm going to stop paying them, my administration is going to cut off the money so they can finally come back to work. Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. We're in so much trouble, folks. We're in so much trouble when the president of the United States is telling people, pay your people more money. He's just completely delusional. Here's another one. If I can get this in quickly before we go to our first break. Here's another one. Joe Biden, as Kamala Harris goes to visit the border today, Joe Biden says that Kamala Harris is doing a good job. Hasn't been to the border in 91 days, but she's doing a great job. Yeah. can't do a good job if you're not there. Folks, I have a sinking suspicion we're going to have some more disaster on the way. I'm your host, Watson Prunier. Let's go to a break, and I'll talk to you on the flip side. Hey friends, Watson Prunier here, host of Battle for Freedom. Normally you would be hearing a cute little 2-minute audio segment with me and my family, but I want to introduce something a little bit on the different side for this month of June, for Pride Month. Yeah, for Pride Month. See, a lot of people are confused on what love is really like, but love is about telling the truth even when it hurts. Love is about being honest. Love is mirroring the life of Jesus to a world that rejects him. Many of us were there, or still there, or even worse, heading there. I don't know your life story, but I do understand pain and rejection, even from the people that we bring closest to our hearts. And some of them were or are professing Christians like me. And some things we said or have been saying or will say will be unfortunate. But do not let our actions or their actions keep you from recognizing they were all sinners, including me and including you. But the story's not over. There's Jesus. He died for you. He died for me. He died because he knew that we could do nothing to get right with God. Listen, don't pay attention to the people arguing about rainbows. Instead, pray for them, as many of us have been praying for you. And maybe God will show them grace and mercy as he did for us. You know, if there's anything to take pride in, it's that God was willing to die for us, and he did. And as God heals you, continue to remain in prayer for those who have lost the ability to communicate without killing another person's spirit. You know, as you give them over to God, I'm going to do the same for you. Please do not allow this moment to only be a season. Beg God to make it much more and for something to take true pride in. Until then, God bless, and remember, Jesus died for us all. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Watson Prunier from Battle for Freedom on Mojo 5 Radio, and I appreciate every last one of you as we sit here just talking about the whole idea of sinking suspicions of more disaster. The foundations and narratives are crumbling. On my website, battle4freedom.com, share it out with as many people as you possibly can. This is how we continue to just share the truth, get people thinking, get people living, and getting out of this disaster called the American nightmare that's affecting us. My website, again, battle4freedom.com, but I also want you to go to mojo50.com. Share it out with as many people as you can. You know what? One more sponsor I want to give to you, and that's Cat Cooler.
When the world is going to hell in a handbasket, you need rugged. You need strong. You need durable. You need Cat Coolers. These are the best coolers on the market in 27, 55, and 88 quart. Go to catcoolers.com and give them the code Watson to save 10% on your purchase. Don't settle for those substandard containers that melt, leak, and destroy your memorable moments. Tell them that Watson from Battle for Freedom sent you. Cat Coolers.
Cat Coolers, send it out with as many people as you possibly can. Listen, the weather's getting warmer, and I think it's going to be a little bit on the impossible side to keep your things cool if you don't have a respectable system to maintain the integrity of your stuff. Also, you know, I cannot forget this one. Oh my goodness, how can I skip Romika Designs? Romika Designs, if you go to Romika, ROMIKADESIGNS.com/battle for freedom, you can get some really cool things, especially like the #1 tumbler in the world that has the Battle for Freedom logo on top of it. If you don't do this, there's something wrong and evil, and you're racist that you won't get a black tumbler with my Battle for Freedom logo on it. But don't buy it unless you've got your bills paid off and you have extra money, and after you've donated some dinero to Mojo 5 Joe Radio. Please do me a favor. Romika Designs, use the code B4, the number 4F, and you can save 10% off of your purchase if you go to Ramika Designs. Check them out. Trust me, you can't go wrong. Let's see. Why does that keep doing that? There you go. So share it out with as many people as you possibly can. Today, I've been just again talking about the idea of sinking suspicions of more disaster on its way. Let's look at this one here because I think this might be the last one for Biden, and I'll leave him alone. Biden is branded a racist for claiming that Latinx aren't getting vaccinated because they fear deportation. So, when everybody of you who was sitting there saying that Donald Trump was calling all Mexicans, all people, all Mexicans rapists, now Biden is calling all Latin people illegal. Folks, there's no getting around this one here. There is no getting around this one here. Biden implied that all American Latinx were afraid of getting vaccinated because they would be deported during a speech in North Carolina on Thursday. It's awful hard to get Latinx vaccinated. Why? They're worried they'll be vaccinated. They'll be vaccinated and deported, he said. Very, 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 very interesting. Oh my goodness. But you know what's going to happen? He's going to get a pass. He is going to get another pass. He had to be reminded of the disaster that happened in Miami. Then he's now making statements like this. And if you don't vote for him, you ain't black. Yes, be prepared. So we just had the disaster with the crumbling building, and Biden makes this statement. So now we need another mass shooting that's going to take place this weekend to basically divert the attention away. Because remember, last year when Joe Biden made the comment, "You ain't black if you don't vote for me," 3 days later, George Floyd lost his life. So, to take away from the disaster of what Joe Biden just said, I bet you we have a major disaster coming our way to divert attention from the racist and ignorant statement that our president just made. So gear up, either today, tomorrow, or Sunday, and very late as Monday, maybe early Monday morning. Be prepared for another disaster to lock down America, cause rioting, and cause so much more. Be prepared for it, because the stories are crumbling, and this is going to get very, very, very bad. Renee says, I wish I could be a fly on the wall of the White House and just see and hear what goes on. Oh my goodness, you and every other common sense American in the world, or in this country, or even every common sense person in the world would love to be a fly sitting on the wall in the White House just to see the cafoofery, or whatever the word is. But hey, listen, I'm serious. Here's another one that's just going to get another pass. But I just wonder when all these indignant people who are against the what's the word for it? The downright evilry of Trump, how long will they continue to be quiet? Because Hunter Biden gets another pass. Liberal media ignores claims president's son used dad's money to accidentally pay escort $25,000. New York Times, Washington Post, CNN, MSNBC are among liberal-leaning outlets who have continued to ignore scandals about the president's son. They were all too happy to focus on Donald Trump's family when he was president, with CNN publishing 2 posts about Jared and Ivanka in the last 2 days. Text messages and receipts show that Hunter Biden may have accidentally spent his father's money on an escort in 2018, according to the New York Post. He had spent a number of nights on May 2018 with a woman at Hollywood Hotel that Jeremy and accidentally paid her $25,000 for the visit. Hunter would later get most of the money back, but he was then contacted by someone identified as Robert Savage III, a former Secret Service agent. Text between the two indicated that Savage was concerned about charges to an account related to Celtic, a code name for Joe Biden. No, that's not the same as downtown. No, which ones are these? Yes. Liberal media. There's more evidence of Joe Biden's corruption and Hunter Biden's corruption. But what are we going to talk about? Because there's just absolutely nothing there. Because everything is perfectly happy. Farting sprinkles and happy rainbows as we sit here. And there's more evidence of what Joe Biden and Hunter Biden has done. Oh my goodness, I don't see anything going on there. Which one is this one here? Yeah, that's actually a good one too. That's a good one. In between the farting sprinkles and crickets. Yeah, I love this machine here. What's this one here?
Triggered!
Yeah, that's what that button is. I should label them so I know them better. Holy cow. So let's move on to the other aspect of sinking suspicions of more disasters. I can't talk about the Bidens anymore in this disaster. Let's look at all these other disasters that come on the way. Another disaster, Anthony Fauci. I'm not going to call. See, I was accidentally calling Anthony Malchiotti a doctor, who I would say he's more of a doctor than Anthony Fauci. Okay, even though he says he's not a doctor, I'll call him more of a doctor than Anthony Fauci. Anthony Fauci was stripped naked and hosed down in a kiddie pool after opening an envelope of white powder he feared was deadly rice, and new book reveals. And interesting how we have all these new books coming out about, Fauci and all these different things to distract people. Hey, people, we've written another book. Hey, you remember when Andrew Cuomo wrote that book and he got a medal for the success of his leadership during the pandemic, and now we come to find out that he was lying and hiding stuff? It's amazing how all these new books are coming out and everything like that, just to distract you away from the failures of these individuals. The Obamas writing books to distract you away from their failures. The Clintons writing books to distract you away from their failures. The Faucis, the Cuomos, and so many more writing books about their failures rather than being honest and transparent. You remember when Barack Obama said, "This will be the most transparent administration that you're going to see." We were watching those foundations crumble. But because people and many Christians hated Trump so much, not on the basis of his behavior, but on the basis of lies, crumbling lies. I've already rebuked and I've dismantled the lies. Share this with your friends, not because of the fact that I'm Caucasianly challenged, not because of the fact that I'm non-white, for those who don't understand that, not because of the fact that I may appear or presume or seem to be a brown or black-skinned individual, but share this truth with them. A lot of people continue to argue the narrative that Trump was racist because of the Central Park 5. This is how you shut the point down. Did Trump say those black boys are guilty because of the color of their skin? He did not say it. There are a lot of people. So the people who want to believe that OJ was guilty, are they racist? Because there are a lot of black folk who believe that OJ was guilty. Does that make them racist? Looking at the facts, look at the facts. Anyone who says to you Central Park 5, listen, anyone who says to you Central Park 5, and they feel with all their heart that convicts Donald Trump of racism, walk away now. Because they're operating on feeling rather than fact. Omarosa said that Donald Trump said the N-word while she was serving under his cabinet. Where are the facts that Donald Trump, not just someone's feeling, not just someone's words, a disgruntled person's word? Where are the facts? We have facts that Joe Biden said Nigger. We have video footage of him saying it multiple times. We have his son saying Nigga multiple times. But that factual information is not sufficient. Your foundations of hate and indignation are crumbling, and the true nature of disaster is right before you. But Fauci, let's direct ourselves away from him flip-flopping. Because remember, we're not talking about his ties into the NIH and his ties back to the Wuhan lab. We're not talking about that anymore. We're talking about Britney Spears. We're using the Royals. We're using Britney Spears. We're using all these different things and all these disasters to point and pull us away from the things that were going on. Think about this. Wuhan took us away from the story of Jeffrey Epstein. More disasters on the way because people are being exposed for the liars that they are. Yeah, now Fauci, the liar, the flip-flopper, is now the victim. How convenient. How convenient. Huh. Sooner or later, you're going to have to stop being manipulated and start demanding that we see the truth. Here's one. Let's go into Tucker Carlson for a minute here. Tucker Carlson slammed CDC director for downplaying the risk of vaccines on young people. As he pointed out, agency's own website says 1 in 4 kids in the 12 to 17 age group will likely experience side effects. But you keep downplaying it. 25%? That's an acceptable number? 1 in 4 children will likely experience side effects. This is an acceptable number? Let me see if I can find this ignorance. See, because this is what I don't understand. I had an ignorant person trying to, basically a troll, trying to basically prove me wrong on as I sit here talking about certain ignorances that are sweeping the nation right now. And one of the ones that I thought was very interesting is you sit here and you look at a lot of the stuff that they're pointing at. Some of these people are just completely delusional. There was an article that I saw that said, and this is dealing with the heart inflammation, right? This was an article that was shared on The Guardian. FDA to add warning about rare heart inflammation to Pfizer and Moderna vaccines. So this person is climate change happy. They're so focused on the narrative of climate change. They're so focused on critical race theory. They're so focused on hating Republicans and everything like that. They said out of 2.7 billion vaccine doses given, there have been 347 reported cases of heart inflammation. 1 in 10 million? Sure, I'll take those odds. 1 in 10 million, I'll take those odds. But if you are opposed to getting the vaccine, you're opposed to basically getting the vaccine because you want to allow the virus to affect you and allow your body to take over and heal you and move you in the right direction. You're a moron. Not wanting to accept the odds of surviving this virus that has you have a 99.97% chance of surviving. You're an idiot if you actually go that route. But we'll go with the route of testing kids and heart failure. 1 in 10 million. That's fine for me. Okay, so then that means 1 in 10 million. So if we actually have 1/10 the number, so that if we have 350 million people, well, no, it's not even the odds, because the odds were because 300. Remember, we didn't even have 15 cases of people dying of COVID in America last year, and people were already ready to impeach Donald Trump on 15 lives being killed, dying because of COVID. See, this is the hypocrisy when your foundations are not based on logic and common sense, and all you are nothing but a troll. What? You really think that we're gonna listen to you? You really think that we're gonna listen to you? So low odds on one area is acceptable, but low odds on another area isn't. See, this is the reason why there's going to be more disaster on the way. But Tucker Carlson explains this. So you're willing to sacrifice a quarter of our children between 12 and 17 years of age for a drug that has not even been approved. It's been accepted for trials, but it has not been proven to be effective. Who determines if one person, think about this, you don't want one person to be poor. You don't want one person to starve. You don't want one person to suffer economic inequality and everything like that. But it's okay for 25% of our children to suffer, adverse reactions to a vaccine. That's perfectly fine. That's perfectly acceptable. It's amazing what things that we're willing to accept numbers of failures on. 25%? 25% is an acceptable number? Yes, Carolyn, spin the roulette wheel. Wow. That's perfect. That should be a new shirt. Spin the roulette wheel with a hashtag on that. Spin the roulette wheel with a vaccine. With a needle on it. That's how you do this thing. I had to calm down for a second there. Yeah, here he comes, because we knew that this was going to be a situation. Do I want to do this? Yeah, I'll do this one now, and I'll come back to the Indian Delta variant turns Missouri into newest U.S. coronavirus hotspot, as Colorado says 40% of all new infections are made up of the strain. Missouri has seen a 25% increase in the 7-day average of COVID cases over the last 2 weeks, and hospitals in Springfield have seen a 20% rise in patients. Health officials say that the Indian Delta variant is turning Missouri into a new hotspot. And in Colorado, state officials have estimate that 40% of all cases are linked to the Delta variant. Here's my thing is, how did the Delta variant get here? Almost like I'm not going to say it was a planned importation, but man, how does it get here so easy? That virus is so amazing. It jumped across the Atlantic Ocean. I mean, you want to talk about a long jump. Whew. Yeah, let me just leave that one alone there. So here's another one. Let's go to this one here, because this one's saying a whole lot. Israel says the Delta variant is infecting vaccinated people, representing as many as 50% of new cases. But they're less severe. But wait. How are you getting infected if you were vaccinated? This gets back to that age-old thing. Now, the President of the United States said last week, basically condemning us unvaccinated folk, you need to get the virus shot, because the vaccine shot, because it will protect you from all the new variants out there. He's not said it on just one occasion. He said it on multiple occasions. Get the jab. It'll protect you. That's what our president said. That's what the 46th president of the United States said. Get the jab. It'll protect you. Sarah, thank you for calling myself. And Amy says, cat. Oh yes, I love that. Yeah, gack, gack, gack. Yeah, with a syringe, gack, 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 squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Because I'm gonna gack, gack, gack you with this vaccine. Yeah, yeah. Oh my goodness. God, I'm sorry. I'm just having too much fun on this. I'm just having way too much fun here. Whew. It's just the only way to just prevent myself from losing my stinking mind. Yeah, because more emergencies on the way. So, from the CDC again, the Centers for Disease and Control, nearly all COVID-19 deaths in the U.S. are in an unvaccinated people, and the CDC director says fatalities due to coronavirus are entirely preventable. More than 99% of the deaths in the United States are among unvaccinated people. Among 150 or more than the 18,000 COVID deaths in May 18,000. Wait, hold on a second. Only 150 of more than 18,000 COVID deaths in May were fully vaccinated people, which translate to 0.8%. So again, we're saying that almost 1% is an acceptable number for people dying, but less than that will survive if they don't get the shot. It's amazing how they're starting. It's amazing how they're starting to change the way that the numbers are being calculated again. We're about to rush in a new phase of fear mongering to people to basically push the vaccine down the throats of people. I just feel like another disaster is on the way. They're saying it's preventable. They're saying it's preventable. Guess what? More people. See, here's yeah. I'm gonna do this in a second here. Let's keep that in the back of your mind. Yes, it is entirely preventable. I'm going to agree with the CDC here. It is entirely preventable, but it's not entirely preventable if you get the jab. It's not entirely preventable, because even they will say to you that it's not entirely preventable of getting the coronavirus if you get the jab. They even say it on the website. Even Fauci has said it. Even all of the health officials have said you still can get the coronavirus if you get the vaccine. So it is entirely preventable, and but not according to the way that they're saying it. Let's actually get into this last one before I get into my attitude of gratitude. Black and Latino children are up to 4 times as likely as white kids to be diagnosed with rare inflammatory syndrome linked to COVID-19. Black and Latino children, they said researchers found black children represented 46% of the MIS-C patients at DC Hospital, while white children only represented 11%. The researchers also looked at disease severity and patient immune systems and found 52% of the MIS-C patients were admitted to the ICU. MIS-C might pose an increasing danger to children as contagious variants spread among those who aren't yet vaccinated. So instead of allowing your body to develop the natural immunities to it, we're basically saying get this unproven jab. And this is the thing I don't like, because a lot of corporations and a lot of leading officials keep calling this a successful tested system. It's not successful when more than 6,000 people have died. It's not successful when you have more than 300, more than 100, more than 50, more than 25 children having heart inflammation because of this testing, this medicine, this drug being tested for efficacy. I think it is criminal to sit there and believe and assume that anything less than 100% is valuable. It is acceptable to say that this is a working drug. Any true working drug is one that blesses and affects positively everyone. Anything less is a nightmare, because anyone who's willing to accept collateral damage for a failure to save people should never be wearing a coat or have the name doctor. You should lose your license like New York City just took away Rudy Giuliani's license to practice law because he didn't agree with election results. You want to talk about tyranny? That's tyranny. But let's get into an attitude of gratitude. b4faog@gmail.com. Send me a message, good message, and let's do this the right way. So a few minutes ago, I was talking about the whole idea that the CDC said it's preventable. It is preventable. I want to say my attitude of gratitude is for Anthony Malchiotti and the role that he has been playing on me getting better, healthier, working with me in terms of the weight loss I'm losing, walking more, and so much more. I'm not recommending New Life Holistic to you just because I haven't experienced the biofeedback therapy yet, but I have experienced the good, wise counsel and wisdom from Anthony Malchiotti. So my attitude of gratitude is for him and the success of his business and the success of his knowledge and his experience. And I believe that if you reach out to Anthony Malchiotti from New Life Holistics, go to newlifeholistics.com, I believe that you will fare the better. I believe you will fare the better. I'm your host, Watson Prunier, from Battle for Freedom of Mojo 5 Radio. Brad Staggs and the Daily Mojo's up next. I'm checking out, folks. Have a blessed weekend. Take care. God bless. Live long and prosper.